when I sit down here, it looks like this fly doesn't have a tail on it. But it's got one of those Paccarcini tails on it. One of these tails. I mean, not the dragon tail, but you get it. But yeah, kind of cool. Today's tying tips video, we're covering laser dub. Or I'm willing to bet if you're watching this channel, you've probably at least messed with laser dub. But if you have or haven't, this video is going to help you kind of get a feel for this stuff. Because there's a right way and a wrong way to use this stuff. There's also consistencies and inconsistencies in the material itself, but we're going to cover all that. So you've seen laser dub used in Gunner's flies, in Gallup's flies, in Blaine Chocolate's flies, in Matt Grajewski's flies. Grajewski? In my Knucklehead. This stuff is a fantastic material to finish off a head and to tie a whole fly with. We're going to show you that one too. By the way, the KC Flyco DOA video, if you didn't get a chance to see that video, it's a prime example of using laser dub. I'll link it in the description of this. It's fantastic fly. Love this fly. I tied it in Fire Tiger for the video, but this gnarly color went out to the patrons. So a little shout out to the Patreon members. Thank you very much. So what is laser dub? I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know. It is a synthetic material. It's very dubbing like, but it's long fibers generally. This stuff is not a blended material. It's fully synthetic. All of it is synthetic. Even the flash that's in it, obviously, but the body and everything that it is made out of is fully synthetic. There's some stuff on the market that has a lot of the same properties of laser dub, but it's a natural / synthetic blend. Stuff's fantastic, and if you haven't tried it, you need to. Latera's Magnum dubbing. A little bit longer fibers, a lot longer fibers. It's more consistent. The length and everything like that across the board is better. So if you're gonna tie like huge flies, musky flies, whatever, the Magnum dub is fantastic. Okay, I'll walk up, sweetie. Thank you, though. Love you. Bye. Daughter's home from college for the weekend. She made me pizza. So obviously, one of the cool things about laser dub is all the colors that you can get. 2 different colors of olive. One's darker, one's lighter. A bunch of browns, tans, pinks, red, black. All sorts of stuff. So I made these boutonniere things for when Jeanette and I got married, and laser dub didn't come in like the exact colors that our wedding had in it, so I just blended some. It's an articulated boutonniere with the pin on the back. So what else would you expect? So pluses, it comes in a ton of colors. It fills a niche that really had only been filled by wool before, and wool isn't exactly the same. It doesn't have the same properties. It's different. Not saying that wool's bad. I will use wool over this in certain situations, but I say that I don't use wool hardly at all anymore. I just use laser dub. But there are some takeaways to this stuff too. So when you look at 3 different colors, this is all the same material. It's all laser dub. This is the silver minnow belly, and this is fluorescent chartreuse, and this is just straight up purple. The only thing they have in common is like the core thing they're made out of, but they have totally different consistencies, lengths. They're almost like 3 different materials, and to look at them in the package, you would have no idea. The fluorescent chartreuse is the exact kind of consistency that I think of when I think of laser dub. Somewhere right around this size, this length of material. Then you go to purple. So the purple still has the bulk, but look how much shorter it is than the fluorescent chartreuse. It's like half the length. And then to go into minnow belly, this stuff doesn't even feel like the same material. It's got a lot of flash in it, which makes it a little bit slicker. But it's got the length and everything like that. It's just different. I think you have to use more material to bulk this up because it's got so much flash in it that you have to use a ton of material to get it to bulk. If you want it to bulk, it's different. It's got a different consistency to it. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying if you're expecting perfect consistency all the way across the colorways of laser dub, you're gonna find vast differences. Just beware, because the difference in these two is pretty crazy. Just saying. When it comes down to using laser dub, you can't just pull this stuff out of the package and tie it into a hook. You can't do that. You'll end up losing all of it. If you've watched very many videos of people using this stuff, you'll see them picking out what they think they need to use, and then they'll play with it, getting it all exactly the same. So what we're doing here is making the length the same. So when you tie it in, you're not going to lose a bunch of it and stuff like that. So you just grab it on each side, pull it apart, stack it, pull it apart, stack it, until you can't really do that anymore. And then skinny it down. Skinny it down? Is that a term? And then you can tie it in, and you're not gonna lose it. So yeah, that's what we're doing. You have to do this when you're using this stuff. You have to. It's a must. Absolutely. So moving on to the correct way to use laser dub versus the wrong way to use laser dub. Everyone has seen this monstrosity of a laser dub fly. Everybody's seen it. We've all seen it. We've all been there. The question is, did you learn from it? There are two main things that you need to get out of this video. If I'm going to teach you anything in this video, there are two things that you need to know. I'm waiting on you to get a pen and paper so you can write this stuff down. So just number one, less is more.
The less you do, the more you do. Let's see if
This fly will not swim. It's not going to swim. There's a lot of things wrong with this, and everybody's seen it. I still see this on Instagram and stuff like this, not daily, but I see stuff like this all the time. If you like a fly that's actually going to swim like this instead of like this, can't tie it like this. Pump the brakes a little bit and go on to the next tip, which is proportions. If we're going to tie a true swim fly, which is what I call a swim fly, which is it's going to swim like a fish. It's not going to jig and stuff like that. You have to use more material on top of the hook than you do on the bottom of the hook. It's a parachute effect. When I start to build a head of laser dub, I'm going to think probably 2/3 of the material I want on top of the hook, whereas I only want 1/3 on the underside of the hook. So just like the DOA video that I tied, if you look at that fly face on, you see a lot more material on the top of the hook than you do on the underside of the hook. This is what we need. And by the way, look at the massive difference in the amount of laser dub used on this god-awful thing compared to this really, really awesome fly. So think less is more. Trust me. Some of the tools that I highly recommend that you have if you're going to work with laser dub are, besides the obvious scissors and bobbin and stuff like that. The first one is a dog slicker brush. This is literally a slicker brush for a dog. It has one purpose, and that's to get under fur out of stuff, and that's exactly what we needed to do. Dog slicker brush, absolutely essential. Can't believe I don't have a lighter here. I don't have a lighter here. You've seen me work with lighters before. This is a synthetic material, so it will melt. So if you want to clean up the eye, if you want to help shape the head a little bit differently, you can hit it with a lighter and it will melt a little bit, and it creates a really clean head. Fantastic. And last, markers. That one hasn't had a lid on it for, ooh, long time. Missed. You see these used a lot on Matt Grajewski's flies, but LaserDub takes marker exceptionally well. It really, really does. To put barring and throats and stuff like that, I don't believe this is going to make a big difference in how many fish you catch. I really don't. But if you like the way it looks, chances are you're going to have more confidence in it, and confidence is key. If you like it, you're going to fish it harder, you're going to fish it better. One of the areas that I feel is vastly underutilized when you start talking LaserDub are smaller flies. So one thing that I've kind of noticed over the years is I feel like most people think that LaserDub is meant for big flies. And I think this is a huge misconception. Flies like Cheech's low-fat minnow and this little minnow that I'm tying right now are really, really fantastic little minnow flies, little bait fish flies that are good for everything from smallmouth to trout. I mean, and everything in between. These are really, really nice little flies. They're super quick to tie. They're fun to tie, and with all these colors, you can stack colors and come up with totally different schemes. Tie these little flies. They are really, really fantastic. So I hope this video will help you step up your LaserDub game a little bit. It doesn't take much to really help this stuff improve your flies. It's really, really neat. You can use it in tons of different ways. Obviously there's tons of different colors and all that stuff, but it's a fantastic material. How many times have I said fantastic in this video? So just like I'm doing in the tying videos now, I'm going to randomly pick a comment in the comments section and send like a couple flies and stickers or something like that to somebody. So what I want to hear from you this time is what other tying tips you would like to see in the future. So comment that below. I'll pick one of you and I'll send you some swag. Yeah. And also I randomly send people swag on Instagram. If they leave a really cool, funny comment on a picture that I post on Instagram, I'll be like, hey, you win Instagram for the day, and I'm gonna mail you something. I never know what it is. I've got 10,000 flies laying around. So, but yeah, I'll probably end up sending this little LaserDub bait fish and I don't know, something else. I'll send this too. So, whatever. To somebody in the comment section. Comment. Leave a comment. Like the video. It really does help. This whole algorithm thing is real, and I never thought I'd be one of those guys that would start to ask for likes and